What makes her special?
What makes her special is that she's actually perfect the way she is.
She is perfect the way she is.
She's smart in her own way. She has beautiful eyes and she's really shy.
We use a little YouTube video called The Reflection in Me. And it is a video where a little girl is looking into a mirror, and she kind of starts out a little grumpy, and then she starts giving herself positive affirmations. And so as she's looking in the mirror, she's telling herself all of her favorite things about her, and it kind of changes her mood all around. And the kids really just love the video. And then I asked them to go around the room, and I asked them to find something that they love about themselves. So one by one, I asked them to raise their hand when they're ready, and they will raise their hand and say, well, I'm good at math. And I'll say, okay, you're right, you are good at math. And I just reaffirm them because I want them to know that like what they see in themselves is good. And then I ask the class to raise their hands and also tell them their favorite part of that child. And so then they get these other positive affirmations. You're more than just good at math. You're a good friend, you're a good helper, you're a good brother, you're kind to people, you're generous. And so that one thing that they thought that they were good at, they leave the lesson with a lot more affirmations for themselves. And then they're able to believe other things about themselves that are positive. One of the ones from this year that stood out the most was a little girl, and she's a beautiful little girl, but you can tell that her whole life people have just told her that she's pretty. And so we did the lesson, and I said, well, what do you love about yourself? And she said, I'm pretty. And I said, okay, class, tell her what she's good at now. And they agreed that she was pretty, but none of them brought that up to her. They said, oh, but you're so generous, and you're such a good big sister to all your little siblings, and you always keep your desk so neatly organized, and you're so responsible. Every time that Miss Arensberg needs a helper, you're always her best helper. And they're always so complimentary of the things that like she herself might not have noticed. My best advice for this lesson is to build up to it slowly. We do it usually at the end of first quarter, after establishing routines and procedures for our community time lessons. We spend the first 20 minutes of our day every day doing community time lessons. And that's where I go over how your words can be hurtful if you don't use them the right way, how kids need to be mindful of how their words can affect others. And so you want them to understand that before you let them loose on sharing out things like that, because once they understand that the words that they say can either be the best thing that someone hears all day or they can be hurtful, then this lesson goes great once that's been established. It's not every year that I get a parent response from it, but over the years, I've gotten like a message in the afternoon that's like, so-and-so came home and told me about that lesson, and they've been smiling ever since, and they've been telling me all the compliments that they heard about themselves. So thank you for doing that. We've been struggling with, self-acceptance and things like that. It increases their self-awareness to the world around them, that it's just not all about them all the time, that other people need to be built up also. And it just allows them to understand that they are good and they are worthy, and that what they have to offer to the world is needed.